last question. Considering that, do you ever feel like you do you ever, or are you ever afraid that like you're gonna say or do something that is just gonna blow up on you and cost you everything? You ever get that feeling?
No, usually, I really,
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. This is the big example one we're just talking about.
Yeah.
But sometimes what may seem like a very mundane thing can just turn around and blow up in your face.
and one of the things is because, being an author, podcaster, I may say certain things and go by the alias, the controversial counselor.
Mhm.
And kids, once they find out, they start trying to look into things, and they had a period where they were going through looking at staff, seeing if they were on Instagram, and a couple of them came
Mhm.
across.
Mhm.
And one situation happened this year. One of the other counselors came in and said, like, David, I don't know what was going on Instagram, but it was something that was posted that these kids are going crazy. And it might have been a situation. I was talking about relationships. It might have been a woman. I don't even know what it was, but then I started getting like an influx of kids requesting me. But I did my due diligence, look through like, okay,
Yeah.
who are the followers, click on some of the pictures, like then you see blocked, stuff like that. But that happened this year. And then I remember a couple of years ago, they happened and they were going through looking at pretty much going through all the teachers thing and trying to be kids, try to see other stuff. But nowadays the scary thing about that is they'll take pictures or screenshot stuff and then make memes and all of that stuff. But I'm just fortunate it never got to that point.
Well, even just things, even just things within the normal day. I mean, a kid comes into your office, says something, you tell him one thing or whatever, and then he goes out and does something crazy.
I mean, it's one of the things, and I always got this phrase from Doug Collins in basketball, KYP, know your personnel.
Well, I'm just talking about in general, like through the course of your, not necessarily that, just if a kid comes in and say, for example, tells you that, his father beats him or something. And then, you talk to him and you say, well, I'm going to have to report this and whatnot. And maybe I'm just making a crazy, I don't know what the procedure is in that case, but, and I'm sure the answer is going to be, well, that would never happen because the procedure is, but just, and then you talk to him, say the kid talks you out of reporting it, and then he goes home and really, really gets hurt. And then they find out, well, he told the counselor. That's just like something professional. I'm not talking about like, cussing in front of kids or something like that. Just something professional that you may do or forget to do. And then it all blows up in your face. You're worried because you really deal with very, very delicate topics in your office there with some of these kids.
It was one situation that I thought could like backfire. And it's kind of a weird situation where you would know the student if I called out their name, but I guess their mom was a nurse, and she was like, she was gonna drug test her daughter when she got home. So she was like, oh crap, Mr. Glover, I know I've been smoking weed. So she had this other girl urinate in a cup. So she was carrying around a cup of urine like that.
Oh, jeez.
Close to dismissal time, and she had it covered. And I was like, what is in that cup? And she was like, Mr. Glover, we talked about it the other day. You know what it is. And I'm like, are you serious? Me and the other counselor, she was like, what is it? I want to know. Then I told her, and after she left, we were saying to ourselves, I hope this doesn't backfire. I hope no boy pisses her off and she turns around and throws it at them. And then she says, well, Mr. Glover knew about it.
Yeah, he knew. I had it all the time. Or the kid goes home. Yeah. Or the kid goes home and her mother busts her, finds it and figures out what her plan was and says, well, I told Mr. Glover, he said it was okay.
Yeah, and I was worried about that. So a couple of days had went by, and I think this might have been on a Friday. Then she came to school that Monday, and I said, "So whatever happened with that?" And she was like, Mr. Glover, I put it under my bed, and like I guess certain you only can it's only good for a certain amount of days, and my mother ended up kind of forgetting about it, and that was that. Then I was because I was like, I could call her
Don't do
mother.
that again, young lady.
I was thinking I could call her mother and kind of blow her in, but I didn't.
Right.
I just
Right.
kind of like
Yeah, but it's little things,
didn't
it's
say
little
anything.
things like that go on. I'm saying little things. I mean, to a family, that's not a little thing. I mean,
Yeah,
that is something. And then if they find out that you might have known something about this, man, I mean, the next thing you know, they're in the principal's office and they're calling you in there and they're calling the area superintendent and you're on the 6 o'clock news or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's those situations like you said. Like I remember also a couple years ago that she got hit by her mother and she had a black eye, and I'm minding my business. She comes up running up to me in the hallway, and I guess it was her birthday. Like, hey, Mr. Glover, it's my birthday, and I'm like, happy birthday. Like, whoa, like, what happened to your eye? Uh, oh, long story. Like, I ran, my brother or somebody ran into the door. Don't give me that. Like, stop.
Right,
So we
right,
went in
right.
my office, and I tell her, like, listen, what happened? She's like, okay, I trust you, but you can't tell anybody. You can't say anything. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately,
I,
I can't do that. I said, so all these teachers this morning seen that. What did you tell them? Well, I just told them I ran into a doorknob and they let that
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're not
So,
stupid. Well,
yeah.
no, the
So,
kids, she probably told a different thing to each teacher.
yeah. So I was worried, but the thing about it is I had a relationship with the mother as well. So she kind of knew where it
Right,
came
right,
from. And she ended up calling me like, I think she called me before the even report was made.
right.
Like, I'm already telling you, Mr. Glover, this happened and I'm prepared to deal with the consequences. But she got out of line. I had to show her. And that was
Oh,
that. And I know
I
you have
think
to
I
do your
remember
job.
this. I think I remember this. Yeah, yeah.
So it all worked out.
I had a mother whack a kid sitting in my office one time. He did a pop. The kid starts bleeding, and the whole rest of the conference, he said there, oh, I mean,
I think I
yeah,
remember
I don't
that
know.
one
But I tell you, the good thing about, or one of the good things about in those situations, when you're administrator, I just stop kids and say, well, if you don't want me to tell your parents, then you better not tell me because I'm picking that phone right up now.
too.
So,
And that's the thing. I think you establish relationships with
yeah,
them, and you let
yeah,
them know, like the more you keep talking, saying this, that I'm gonna have to report something. Even,
right.
well, I thought I could trust you. Yeah, you can, and some of them
Yeah,
they'll
but,
get mad or upset, but they'll
right,
come back and realize you did the right
right.
thing.
Well, that's right. But that's also, if you remember, if or I'm not, I'm sure you do. I remember is when you guys, when kids first come to middle school, and then I would imagine they do the same thing in high school. They have that orientation where you talk to them and you tell them right up front at the beginning to say, if it's a matter of someone going to be hurt, then I have to tell you that. So you kind of, they know, they know. They can't come in and tell you something really crazy and think that you're just gonna, let it go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless
and
the
even
people.
with the
Okay.
even with those lessons, when you tell them that, you get a lot of good
Yeah.
dialogue because they
Right.
say, well, why would I tell you anything? That's like snitching.
Mhm.
Then you have to explain to
Oh, the
them
whole
about
snitching
that.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. So it kind of works out, and they kind of realize, like, yeah, you did say this, and it's all about our safety at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
typically they get it.
they do.